Let's go immediately to the pits and Dave Despain.
And it's a wild scene here outside the infield hospital where Richard Petty has just been taken. A.J. Foyt was one of the drivers involved in the accident. Has a lot of close feelings for Richard Petty. You've been in to check on the man, A.J. What's the story?
Well, I think everything's looking good. I just walked in to get okayed by the hospital. I was the one that, when Petty come down across track, I was probably one of the first to hit him on the left front. You know, it just, I don't know, the back end jumped out from under him, looked like, you know. So it's just one of the misfortune things. I think he's going to be all right, and thank God for that.
It all started.
Well, I was going into that whole group on the bottom side, and it looked like one of the cars behind him or something jerked the back end out from under him. The car jumped sideways, and when it jumped sideways, he come down across the track, and when he did, I hit him real hard on the left front.
We've got a wrecker wheeling through here, and we're going to move over out of the way. A.J., did you see Richard inside the hospital?
Yes, what I saw him, he looked like he was conscious and everything else, so thank God for that.
Thank you, A.J. We have one more angle to look at on that. One more word from down here. Dale Inman, the crew chief on Richard Petty's car, and of course Richard's cousin, came by here a few moments ago, and this was the signal. It appears that Richard Petty is okay. Let's go back upstairs.
As his pit crew packs up, gets ready to go back to Level Cross, North Carolina. There you see his cousin Dale Inman on the right side of your picture. Here is another angle that we haven't observed of this very serious crash.
As they come off for the fourth turn, and as A.J. Foyt pointed out, it looked like the back end of Petty's car did just lift and come around, and Markdahl was right behind it with nowhere to go, and it immediately went up in the air once Markdahl hit him.
There you see A.J.'s car, the black car on the bottom of the picture. Well, that's hard memories of 1970 at Darlington. Yeah, and he was hurt in that accident. Let's pray that he was not.
He's had his neck broken several times, and that's one of the vulnerable parts of Richard Petty's body, and his head had to have been going back and forth in that car as it whipped over and over along the track.
Well, as you'll recall, we had some scenes when he tagged the wall in turn 2 about just how far you're in that shoulder harness and you're cinched right up in it tight, and yet his body moved, what, 1.5 foot?
Yeah.
Those pictures that we saw a year ago.
Elastic.
Now, the fence has been beaten up here, and they're going to take a moment to fix it. We may be under a lengthy caution at this time in the race. That car was up in there, and the fence did what it was supposed to do, but it took some abuse, and they're going to repair it. You can see the crews out there now ready to do just that.
That's the fuel cell that has come out of Petty's car. It was broken loose.
It's amazing, you know, that with the fuel cell ripped out of the car, there was no fire. That shows that the safety precautions built into these cars by NASCAR are really working.
Well, that is the kind of damage that you remember from 1969 with the late Don McTavish, where the front end was just as he threw the engine out there. But a horrible thing to see, and we all, of course, feel the same way, waiting to hear, and that's so optimistic what A.J. Foyt was able to tell us.
Yes, he was very, very optimistic.
We'll be back with more live Daytona 500 after this message and a word from your local stations.